Well, it looks like the folks over at CoCoTALK are still acting like a bunch of butthurt little children. Seems that I was briefly mentioned on the last episode, and I say briefly because the person who mentioned me got shot down pretty quick. Since I have very little patience for these ass clowns anymore, I'm just going to get right into the clip.
And there's a new emulator class of software writing, emulator only. Probably in your next report, right?
I don't know if that's really a class. I mean, it was based on Dave doing emulating testing on his current engine, but that's based on a hardware card he's actually working on. That's not going to be emulator only. It requires his spiced up card to run it
Well,
afterwards. So.
I'm thinking of Chet's
Yeah,
stuff.
but we're not allowed to. We don't talk about certain somebody on the show anymore because of copyright reasons.
Oh,
Okay. So
okay.
we're moving on. More news, Curtis.
It sounds like they're referring to a post on Facebook about a potential market for emulator-only games, but the project they're referring to only had a small impact on the overall conversation both on and off Facebook. I mean, I don't actually give much a fuck about the project that they're referring to anyway. I mean, it's shit and headed for failure, but we're going to set that aside for now because I'll be covering that in a future video. Now, I do find it extremely amusing that I've reached the status of
He who shall not be named.
I mean, I just think it's a bit disingenuous to say that they don't mention my name because of copyright reasons, though. I mean, maybe they should try being honest for a change and admit it's because they simply don't like me because I won't back down from their bullshit. I mean, they abused my content, got smacked down for it, lied about it, refused to make retractions, continued to lie about it, got hit with the Fuck Coco Talk website and some demos, cried about that, and continued to cry about it. Well, one of these days they'll probably get it right, but I really don't care. But let's move on and review what they have to say about reporting the news.
One of the things that we try to do on this show, especially when it comes to news and providing the news, is to do so with the highest level of journalistic integrity, where we do not put any personal bias. We don't censor things. We don't leave things out. Anything that's going on in the world of the Coco, we try to cover news from all over the place as basically as just a public service. So,
As I said in a previous video, that's a crock of shit. I mean, so their idea of journalistic integrity is to do a 15-minute segment that amounts to a hit piece full of lies and half-truths about me, but, then turn around and take a position of not mentioning my name or word? Is that what they really consider journalistic integrity? I mean, is that what they consider a lack of bias? I mean, if I didn't think the show was nothing but 4 hours of Teletubbies eating their own dicks, my feelings might actually be hurt. But hey, let's see what else they have to say about it.
this is going to be the first time where we are going to have to censor something or withhold information from the news, and this is the first time in the 4-year history that we're doing it. And we're doing it because basically somebody has made a decision to file this copyright claim against my channel.
Well, if they're censoring anything, it's by choice only and not by being forced to. I mean, YouTube certainly isn't forcing them to do anything, nor do I know of any legal authority that is forcing them to do anything. I'm certainly not forcing them to do anything. I mean, if there's any censorship happening here, it's solely by their choice only. But what are they actually accomplishing by doing this? Are they hurting me in any way? No. Are they hurting my projects in any way? Not at all. I mean, I'll continue to push out quality work just like I always have. Well, what they are doing, though, is making a concerted and conscious effort to deprive a segment of the community of my contributions. Now, while I still don't give a fuck about that either, I do think it's a huge disservice to the community, and, now that people are starting to pick up on it, CoCoTALK just ends up looking like the ass clowns that they are. So what exactly have some people missed because of their choices? Well, I'll start with the chaos documentation, including the engine background, the world builder, the rendering engine, and the programming model. Now, these are all works in progress, but definitely of interest to software developers wanting to create games or other multimedia applications. Now, these are just, dozens of the hundreds of pages of documentation I have on the subject. How about the chaos progress demos, including both Lemmings performance tests? The first test had 100 sprites on the screen, and the second had 200 on the screen. These were running at various frame rates with both stock Coco and Gimme X examples. How about the Alter Ego game port, which is a game I'm working on in conjunction with Chaos? Now, this is a port of a game that originated on the Spectrum and has been ported to several other platforms, including the NES and the Commodore. How about the texture compiler news and information, such as the upcoming release and the results highlighted in the latest videos of Alter Ego? And then there's the emulator games topic discussion on Facebook, which is somewhat related to other topics reported on CoCoTALK. I mean, they've spent roughly 45 minutes to an hour discussing this very topic or this this project that they've mentioned. But then they dismissed this. I mean, they didn't even have to mention my name. There were a lot of other people that were involved in that discussion, not just me. And then there's the 7 holiday Christmas slideshows. I mean, how do you keep Christmas slideshows away from people at Christmas time? I mean, how dick is that? And then, lastly, there's the Super Adventure Text Adventure, which is written in C for the Coco 3. Now, this is almost complete, but it still is just something I play around with when I get frustrated with my other projects. I don't know when it will be released, but, it's something that'll, pop up at some point. I mean, these are just things that are kept from their viewers because of their bias, nothing else. And I expect they'll continue to do this, and I'll continue to be up in their face about everything they do or say concerning me and my work. But, hey, that's just par for the course, I guess. So, yeah, fuck them.
We don't talk about certain somebody on the show anymore because of copyright reasons.
Oh,
Okay.